Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome to my video. My name is Ardelia Putri Lestari. In this video, we would like to learn about one of the texts in English. Before we start our learns, I want to ask you some questions. Do you like reading? Do you know about story of Maningkundang? And what the moral message that you can take in the story of Maningkundang? So beside on my questions, I think you will know about the text that will be learned. Text that will be learned in this video is narrative text. In this video, we would like to learn about definitions, generic structure, language features, example, and how to analyze narrative text. And the next is about definitions of narrative text. In simply put, a narrative text is a type of text that tells a story or describes a sequence of events. The purpose of a narrative text is to entertain or inform the reader by presenting a series or events in a coherent and engaging way. And the next is about generic structure of narrative text. Narrative text has 4 generic structure. They are orientations, complication, resolutions, and reorientations. Orientation sets the stage for the story. So, when reading the orientation part, we should be able to identify the character and setting, plot, time, and place of the story. And the next is about complications. This section contains the problems that occur within a story. It is divided into 3 parts. They are rising actions, climax, and falling actions. And the next is about resolutions. The resolutions is the part of the narrative where the conflict or problem introduced earlier in the story is resolved or addressed. This may involve characters finding a solutions to their issues, overcoming obstacles, or experience personal growth. And the last is reorientations or evolutions. These sections is an optional component of a narrative text that serves to reflect on the story and its events, reinforcing the moral lessons or theme. And the next is about language features. Language features of narrative text is first using past tenses. Narrative texts often contain past tense because they typically recount events or stories that have already occurred. And the next using adverbial of time. Narrative texts often use adverbials of time to provide a clear structure and sense of progressions to the story. And next, using adjective. Adjective are words that describe or modify nouns, or put it simply, adjectives are words that give more information about a noun, such as its color, shape, size, characteristic, and etc. And the last, using noun phrases. A noun phrase is a group of words that contains a noun along with any accompanying modifiers such as adjective, adverbs, or other nouns that provide more information about the main nouns. And the next is about types of the narrative text. There are lots of different kinds of narrative texts, such as fictional narrative. A fictional narrative is a story that is not based on real events or real people. It can be a novel, short story, fable, or fairy tale. And the next is autobiography. An autobiography is a narrative text that tells the life story or author written from a first-person perspective. And the next is biography. A biography is a narrative text that tells the life story of someone other than the author, written from a third-person perspective. And the next is memoir. A memoir is a narrative text that focuses on a particular period or event in the author's life, often written from a first-person perspective. And the last is legends. A legend is kind of a folklore, is a traditional story that has been passed on for generations. It often explains the origins of a particular culture or society. And the next, we would like to learn how to analyze the narrative text. You can look the example of the narrative text. The title is The Prince and His Best Friends. The text has 4 paragraphs, so we would like to analyze the generic structure and the detailed information from the text. Okay, let's try together to find the generic structure from the text above. Orientation, mostly in the first paragraph from the story. So in this text, orientations in the first paragraph. And the next is complications. Complications is the firstly part that problem is occurred. In the text, you can see in the paragraph, in the second paragraph and third paragraph, that the prince and his best friend Peter Piper and Frankly Greedy were walking through the forest, and suddenly a group of bandits attack and they entered the old house and trapped inside the house. And the next is resolutions. Resolution you can find in the next paragraph. In the fourth paragraph is early at dawn, Franklin opened the farm gate and unlocked the door. The bandits entered the house in the search of the prince. When they came to the room where the prince was supposed to sleeping, no one was there. Suddenly heard a horse running outside the house and saw over the window that Peter Piper and the prince were riding away on one of the bandits' horse. And the next is reorientations or evaluations in the last paragraph. And the next is about the tie informations about the story. First is character. Character in the story is the prince and his best friend, namely Peter Piper, Frankie Grady, and the bandits. And the next is about setting. Setting time, we can look in the sentence once upon time. And the next is setting place. Setting place in this story is in the forest. So they are trinity structure and the tile informations about the story. And the last is about moral value or moral message. The moral value based on the story is don't be fast to surrender or hopeless in all situations, because the trouble, every troubles has a solutions that we can resolve. So there are explanations about narrative text. I hope you get more understanding about narrative text. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.